Part of what thinking about the future involves thinking about our own mortality. Mortality and thinking about mortality has been part of the human condition since time immemorial. There are many philosophers who believe that mortality defines our humanity. And that definition for most of our experience as a species has been dictated by the trade-offs made in evolution. And there are different animal species that are longer and shorter, and there are all these kinds of trade-offs. But for as long as we've been around, as long as we've been telling stories around campfires, our species has fantasized about breaking out of the cycle of mortality. Many of you know the story of Methuselah from the Bible, who lived to the ripe old age of 969. Those of us who aren't literalists think that maybe that didn't happen. But we've always imagined maybe David thinks it happened. We've always imagined what life would be like if we could break out of mortality. And we've fought back, and we've fought back very successfully. At the time of the Roman Empire, the average lifespan was about 25 years old. That didn't mean that everybody died when they were 25, but there was large infant mortality, and the average lifespan was very low. By the time of the Middle Ages, it had only expanded to about 30. In 1990, in the United States, it was only 47. And now, as everybody knows, in the United States and around the developed world, it's roughly 80. Average lifespan has doubled over the last 200 years. And it's not just that it's doubled, but it's that our expectation of what a normal lifespan is has expanded. And so this thing that we feel is very natural now, to live to whatever age we feel is normal, is set in a cultural context. And these changes, they normalize over time, and that becomes what everybody's expectation, what everybody's sense of normal. And we fought back using these tools that everybody knows: medicine, public health, nutrition, and lifestyle. And along the way, we've also had some really crazy ideas, crazy potions, crazy elixirs. About 100 years ago, the very popular process for life extension was monkey testicle grafting. And I was told in the green room that this process is having a comeback. So anybody who would like to volunteer, we're going to have a monkey testicle grafting booth in the back, and please let us know. But we, as you all know, which is part of why you are here, we are in a new age of science and technology. And one of the biggest transformations of this age is that the sequencing of the human genome has turned biology in many ways to an information technology. When computers were first developed, people didn't think about hacking into computer systems. People hadn't internalized this idea, things like Moore's Law. But over time, we've come to expect that our technology expands, the power of our technology grows exponentially, and that IT systems are inherently hackable. Now that we are turning biology into code, which is what the sequencing of the genome has done, increasingly biology is becoming an information technology, and therefore it has the same qualities as any information technology, which is exponential growth, at least in some ways, and we've seen that with the cost of sequencing, the power and cost of sequencing the genome decreasing at 2 times the rate of Moore's Law, and hackability. And that's very, very important. And so we are in this age where all kinds of science are becoming informationalized, and they're on this exponential J-curve. And what it means is that our sense of timing, of how long innovation takes for us as a species, is going to change. Because right now our brains are designed for linear thinking. If you're living on the savannah and you have exponential thinking, if you're thinking 10 generations ahead and you're not thinking about the tiger that's coming to get you, you're in trouble. And that's why our brains are designed for linear thinking. But right now, this pace of innovation is going to increasingly get faster and faster. So when we think of maybe 1 unit of change is 2006 to 2016, it could be that 2016 to 2026 maybe 3 times that, 3x. And 2026 to 2036 could be 10x, and then 50x. So the speed of innovation is going to increasingly expand. And therefore, our thinking, how we think about the world and how we understand the world, and the things that are fixed and the things that are unfixed, are going to change. They're going to be brought into these challenges to the way that we think. And bringing that back to aging, we see these examples of aging in nature where there are a lot of, and we're going to talk about this, a lot of disparities. And we don't fully understand why it is that a mouse in captivity lives maybe 4 years and a mouse in the wild lives 1. And we have some good ideas why an average mouse on the street here, that a bat can live 30 or almost 40 years, why there are sharks that can live 500 years when there are other sharks that are genetically similar that live much less, and why there are jellyfish, and this is in my novel, I talk about this as well, but jellyfish that seem to be immortal, that go back and forth between mature age and a polyp stage. And so we're at this phase in our evolution as a species where we have a question. And the question is our mortality fixed? Is our biology fixed? Or are we hackable? And is mortality in one way or another, or in pieces along the way, overcomable?